This is that vena porta receive the blood from all unpaired organs. Yep. All unpaired organ of abdominal cavity. All this blood must be filtrated in the liver, because everything which absorbed to the blood from intestine cannot pass to our cells directly. All proteins must be separated on proteins to own proteins of the body, and so on. There are two main tributaries of vena porta. Vena porta is short, enters to porta hepatis, and receives vena mesenterica superior and vena lienalis. Two main tributaries. Then vena lienalis receives vena mesenterica inferior, which corresponds to arteria mesenterica inferior. But if you compare its topography, you see that vena is longer than artery. Goes laterally. It decusated with the vena and arteria testicularis in this place. Then vena porta receives also vena gastrica sinistra and dextra. And it also receives vena parumbilicalis, which go from umbo along ligamentum teres hepatis directly to vena. You see, distal tributaries corresponds to distal branches of arteries. In proximal part, they not correspond to arteries, only in distal part. Between system of vena porta and systems of vena cava superior and inferior, a lot of anastomos may be found. Look, rectal vein. I asked today about drainage from the rectum. For let you remember, it's blood supply. Arteries and veins correspond. Vena rectalis superior corresponds to arteria rectalis superior. That's why vena rectalis superior enters to vena mesenterica inferior, which enters to vena porta. But vena rectalis media and vena rectalis inferior enters to vena iliaca interna. Media directly inferior through vena pudenda interna. Iliaca interna enters to vena cava inferior. Mesenterica inferior enters to vena porta. It means that this is all rectal plexus is a large anastomosis between system of vena porta and vena cava, named porto-caval anastomosis. At the opposite wall of our abdominal cavity, we have vena esophagealis and vena gastrica sinistra. In this place we have anastomosis. Vena esophagealis arises and enters to vena azygos. Vena azygos to vena cava superior. But vena gastrica sinistra enters to vena porta. So it means anastomosis is present here. In case anything blocks the venous passage through the liver, the blood moves to anastomosis.
So you can see that
and that anastomosis are enlarged by it. Next, vena parumbilicalis from the navel. On this place,
these segmental veins into the fetus start from vena.
In this place, we have, you remember, vena epigastrica superficialis enters to vena saphenna magna. Vena thoracoepigastrica enters to vena brachialis. Vena epigastrica superior enters to vena iliaca interna. Vena epigastrica inferior enters to vena iliaca externa. And look, all day anastomosis of vena with vena parumbilicalis. Parumbilicalis enters to vena porta. But epigastrica superficialis and epigastrica inferior to vena cava inferior. epigastrica superior and thoracoepigastrica to vena cava superior. So it means that on this place we have the largest anastomosis between systems of vena porta and vena cava. Next,
So due to this
you see, number 4. Mesoperitoneal part of the intestine,
is going through
colon ascendens and colon descendens.
into the atrium.
They are connected with vena lumbalis because they are mesoperitoneal. They lies on the posterior wall of abdomen.
And please see blood
They give vena
cava
mesenterica inferior and vena mesenterica superior. But on the wall of this intestine, they have small anastomosis with vena lumbalis. Vena lumbalis enters to vena cava inferior.
stream
Mesenterica inferior and superior to vena porta.
is located
Next.
anterior
Cava caval anastomosis.
of a very short stream.
Between system of vena porta cava superior and vena cava
Blood of the
inferior.
vena cava and due to this,
First.
blood of the vena cava inferior and vena cava superior is not mixing into the atrium dextris.
Vena lumbalis ascendens. Directly it continues to vena azygos and to vena cava superior. Vena lumbalis enters to vena cava inferior. It means that in this place we have anastomosis between vena cava superior and inferior.
Vertical stream.
Next,
So
plexus vertebralis. It locates on all levels of the vertebral column. In upper level, they continue to vena intercostalis. In lower level, to vena lumbalis. It means that all plexus of vertebral column consists of
so this is the
anastomosis. Cava.
long picture.
And sometimes, maybe even very interesting porta-caval anastomosis between vena vena mesenterica inferior. That's
Now please see
between vena mesenterica inferior and vena testicularis.
the vena cava
I have seen this anastomosis,
ventriculus dexter from ventriculus dexter.
but it is not described in your book, but it can be. You see, vena testicularis decusated with vena mesenterica inferior. Sometimes they may be connected with anastomosis.
And main part
It will be second question
is
of
going
next topic.
through the ductus arteriosus
The fetal
into
circulation.
the aorta. Aorta into the aorta. Only small part of
After the birth, we
blood
have the
is going into
closed
the
circle
arteria
of
pulmonaris.
circulation.
Dexter
In fetal,
and
it's opened. You see? It goes from the placenta.
Now please see here.
Placenta consists of two places.
Blood from
The place of mother and place of children.
arteria iliaca communis.
From mother's place,
Arteria iliaca
oxygenated blood goes to
This is
arteria uterina.
umbilicalis, dextra
From
et sinistra.
Placenta.
So,
The blood of child receives the
the
oxygen.
artery blood is going to the placenta.
The breathing
Blood,
actually in placenta.
this is blood.
In fetal blood.
The same
It receives the
blood
oxygen, which
which is
goes to
going to the
vena umbilicalis, red color. Vena because goes to the heart.
pelvic organ.
Vena umbilicalis goes to the navel.
And now
On the
let's
porta hepatis it
compare
gives two
blood
branches.
of
The first one enters to
superior,
vena
which is going to the brain
porta.
superiorly.
The second
This
enters
blood
to vena
is
cava
going
inferior,
to the
named
abdominal
ductus
pelvic
venosus.
organs and the
enters to vena cava inferior, ductus venosus.
And
And the blood is mixed. Vena cava inferior has
what blood is
the venous
not
blood.
oxygenated?
The certain portion of oxygenated blood enters and
Going to
the mixed blood
superior limb and brain.
in ascending part of vena cava inferior on the level of the liver.
Preductal
The second portion of
of the from
vena,
preductal part of
the second branch of vena
from arcus aorta
umbilicalis enters to the liver directly,
going to the brain.
and the liver is an organ
This
of
blood
the
is more oxygenated than
hematopoiesis. The new blood cells appear in the liver, and the cells enter to the blood, and then it enters to vena cava inferior too. So, finally, vena cava inferior receives all the blood from vena umbilicalis. Then it enters to
So superior limb
the heart.
receives the same blood as the brain.
And
Now,
in this age,
again, liver.
foramen ovale is opened.
You know, liver has this,
And the blood from vena cava inferior directly goes to foramen ovale.
this right
And from the right atrium, it goes to the
branch.
left atrium.
Branch of the porta.
From the left atrium to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle to ascending aorta. From ascending aorta to arcus aorta. From arcus aorta to the head and upper extremities. Truncus brachiocephalicus, arteria carotis communis, arteria subclavia.
Blood, this
The
is
head,
arteria
upper extremity
and
supplied,
arteria.
oxygenated, gives back the deoxygenated blood with vena cava superior. Vena cava superior enters to the right atrium. But in this case, it does not go to foramen ovale, it goes to the right ventricle.
And this is vena.
From the right ventricle, the pulmonary trunk goes.
This group
What?
of the artery, what? Trunk,
Lungs are closed,
celiac,
they don't breathe, they need no blood.
vena mesenterica,
And main portion of the blood goes not to pulmonary arteries, it goes to the ductus arteriosus, between bifurcation of pulmonary trunk and descending aorta. The proximal part of descending aorta directly below level of arteria subclavia sinistra. You remember it has oxygenated blood mixed with the deoxygenated. Mixed blood. And the certain portion of venous blood enters to it. And on this level, the mixed blood contains less content of oxygen than in this place. You see? That's why the head and upper extremities supplied better than the abdomen and lower extremities and pelvis. In newborn child, you see the large hands, large arms. Arms are larger than legs.
What segments into
Because
the
oxygenated. So, descending aorta gives branches which supply all organs of thorax, abdomen, pelvis, lower extremities. But on the level of pelvis, this mixed blood goes out through arteria umbilicalis. You remember that arteries. It comes back to the placenta for new oxygenation. After the birth, the first breathing, lungs opened, and the blood from arteria truncus pulmonalis goes to lungs.
Vena umbilicalis,
Ductus arteriosus closed.
extrahepatic part,
Vena umbilicalis closed and became ligamentum teres hepatis. Ductus venosus closed and became turned into ligamentum venosum.
hepatic part.
Arteria umbilicalis closed became ligamentum umbilicalis. Foramen ovale closed became fossa ovale. And you see, ligamentum teres hepatis, ligamentum venosum. Fossa ovalis, ductus arteriosus, ligamentum umbilicalis. Understand? Okay.